Question number 176. During summer, when body loses more water due to profuse sweating and dehydration, what will happen? The very first option given is osmolarity of body fluid decreases, and this is an incorrect option as the osmolarity of body fluid will increase due to this profuse sweating and dehydration. The next option given is decrease in secretion of atrial natriuretic peptide, and this is a correct answer to our question as during this profuse sweating or dehydration, which will lead to increase in osmolarity of body fluids or decrease in GFR or blood pressure, this will lead to decrease in secretion of atrial natriuretic peptide and stimulation of RAS system or increase in secretion of antidiuretic hormone or vasopressin. The next option given is decrease in secretion of ADH from pituitary, and this is an incorrect option because this will lead to increase in secretion of ADH from pituitary. The next option given is increase in glomerular filtration rate, and this is an incorrect option because due to this profuse sweating or dehydration, there will be decrease in glomerular filtration rate, which will ultimately lead to the stimulation of RAS system. So the correct answer for this question is option number 2. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 177. Select the disease or symptom which is incorrectly described. And the very first option given is angina pectoris is a pathological condition of heart characterized by severe chest pain, possibly due to inadequate supply of blood to heart muscles. And this is a correct statement, so this cannot be a correct answer. Our next option given is when heart muscles are suddenly damaged by inadequate blood supply, the condition is known as cardiac arrest. And this is an incorrect statement, so is a correct answer to our question because this condition is known as heart attack. And this definition is also given in your NCERT book as such. Our next option given is cardiac arrest is actually complete and permanent stoppage of heart, and this is a correct statement, so this cannot be a correct answer to our question. Our next option given is when heart fails to pump adequate amount of blood as required by tissue, the condition is known as heart failure, and this is a correct statement but is not a correct answer to our question. So the correct answer for this question is option number 2. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 178. The end of which wave in an ECG marks the end of ventricular systole? The very first option given is QRS complex. This is an incorrect option because this QRS complex represents the depolarization of ventricles. Our next option given is P wave, and this is also incorrect because P wave represents atrial depolarization. Our next option given is T wave, and this is a correct answer to our question because the end of this T wave represents the end of ventricular systole or represents ventricular repolarization or end of ventricular systole. So this is a correct answer to our question. The next option given is Q wave, and this is an incorrect option because it doesn't mark the end of ventricular systole. So the correct answer for this question is option number 3. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 179. Partial pressure of oxygen and carbon dioxide are same in which regions of human body respectively. And as you can see this table which is given in your NCERT book, here we have partial pressure of oxygen and partial pressure of carbon dioxide. And we need to find out in which two regions these two partial pressures are equal. The very first option given is deoxygenated blood and alveoli. In deoxygenated blood, PO2 is 40, whereas in alveoli, PCO2 is 40. So in these two reasons, yes, the partial pressure of O2 and CO2 is equal. So this is a correct answer to our question. Our next option given is oxygenated blood and tissues. In oxygenated blood, the PO2 is 95, whereas in tissues, the PCO2 is 45, which are not equivalent, so this cannot be a correct option. Our next option given is atmospheric air and alveoli. In atmospheric air, PO2 is 145, whereas in alveoli, PCO2 is 40. So this is an incorrect option. Our next option given is deoxygenated blood and tissues. In deoxygenated blood, PO2 is 40, whereas in tissues, PCO2 is 45. So this cannot be a correct answer. So the correct answer for this question is option number 1. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 180. Pneumoconiosis is a type of, and we know that pneumoconiosis is a type of occupational respiratory disease of lung due to inhalation of dust. So this is an occupational respiratory disease of lungs due to inhalation of dust and characterized by inflammation, coughing, and fibrosis. So the correct answer for this question is option number 3. Let's discuss other options also. The very first option is emphysema, and this is an incorrect option. Emphysema is a respiratory disease in which the wall of alveoli are damaged, and the major cause for this disease is cigarette smoking. The next option given is occupational renal disease, and this is an incorrect option because this pneumoconiosis is a respiratory disease and not a renal disease. The last option given is coronary artery disease, and this is also incorrect because, as we have already discussed, it's a respiratory disease. So the correct answer for this question is option number 3. Now with this question, I would like to end up the discussion of this AIATS paper. I hope all your doubts and queries have been solved regarding this paper. Thank you very much for watching and all the best.